That would happen. I'm good. Sorry about that. What's happening? We're here. I'm gonna take this case off because that's what's making it happen. Is the case. There we go. That should work. All right. We're gonna shed and I'm gonna share a little bit today. I'm gonna shed on the clarinet some more, and I'm gonna talk about the power. I'm still on this thing, the power of your belief. But really, this is pretty much the same thing. But I want to talk about your giftedness, the way you think. So I put out a book back in 2015. I put out the hardback version of it, and it is called The Christian Musician: Learn What Your Real Gift Is and How to Succeed with and Beyond Your Music. And so I talk about how the real gift is not your playing ability, but it's the way that you think. And when you think about that, uh, my approach on the saxophone or writing music or the way that I play and everything, I was able to use the medium of music to express myself, what's in my heart, soul, spirit. And my instrument of choice, the tool of choice, was saxophone, EWI, and stuff like that. And so, because I chose to focus on sharpening my skills on the instrument, from putting in all of those hours, of course, you are able to hear, feel, and experience um, my creative, uh, I guess, what do you call it, the medium or the art form, in that sense of music, sonically, you know what I'm saying? And that affects people's spirit, soul, and body. Music is a very powerful tool. But when you grow and you start learning more, you realize that um, it's not, that's not it in and of itself in terms of your giftedness. It's something that your giftedness is displayed through, but it's not actually all. You know what I'm saying? It's an aspect of who you are, but it's not totally uh, everything that you're created to do and manifest your gift through. So I gave an example of David. And so David was known before he was king. Of course, he was known, his reputation was well known on the harp. He was really good with the slingshot. He was, you know, taking care of the sheep and slaying bears and lions. So when Saul was feeling bad, he had a distressing spirit, or was struggling with some things, because of course this was during the time where God was ready to anoint a new king, because Saul was being disobedient. This is in Samuel, 1 Samuel 16th chapter, 17th chapter. You can find a lot of this. So they sent for his servants. Saul's servants sent for David, because they heard that he was um, a man of God. The Spirit of God was with him. He was a warrior, good fighter. He made good decisions, and he was a talented harp player. So they sent for him. He came and played, and that evil spirit that was messing with him left. And so, but I wanted to point out how all of these other qualities were mentioned about David. And so David, because of him being at the end of the list, it says, and God was with him. So he was a man after God's own heart. He was talented, skilled, and he was wise. He had all of these qualities, which were aspects of him and his character. It talked about his character in addition to his skills on his instrument. So anyway, all of those things to say he was chosen to not only play his instrument and even contribute to the work of the Bible through his Psalms, but also he was a great king, all right? And one of the most notable kings. And so through David's lineage, we get Jesus, it came through that line. So, of course, he wasn't perfect, but he had a repentant heart. But my point is the giftedness, like he was a king. So to be king, you have to be administrative. And so his giftedness was not just music. He was good with decision making, delegation, and oversight. And so these qualities and values are things that we need to pay attention to in our own lives, and not just think that everything is going to resolve around music. And so, but also realize your value and your intellectual property. So the way that you think can be monetized. It can be leveraged, because the highest form of value is really ideas and communication. So the reason why is because everybody doesn't have the mindset that you do. Everybody's not making the connections around the things that might be easy for you, or the giftedness that you have. Everybody's not gifted in those areas. So it takes you to teach. It takes you to explain. It takes you to create programs, to create different mediums that people can learn. Because when you're weak or don't have the knowledge in one area, what do? We'll Google it or we'll YouTube it, and we'll look it up because we're looking for the information so that we can know how to do this particular thing. Chat GPT and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So we're always in search for knowledge and understanding, But the thing about it, the knowledge and understanding isn't enough. You need God. You need the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit is the one who leads and guides us into all truth. And so when you can couple skill with obedience and a heart after God, and the Holy Spirit is with you, that right there is so valuable. So that might be accessible through a medium like music, but it is also accessible through a conversation, a video. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I wanted to talk about today, just to give you some understanding about like your giftedness. And so even the whole idea of mastery and like the whole idea of growth, and just like I've been putting in these hours practicing the clarinet. So just because I've spent the time doing, putting into the saxophone and mastering the saxophone, I have good command over the saxophone, but it doesn't transfer automatically to the clarinet, because the clarinet feels different in spots, especially going over the break in the left hand, right? So it's certain things that I'm not familiar with, like we say, consciously incompetent. I know that I'm incompetent, on the clarinet in certain spots because my fingers are not used to those combinations. But what do? I have to apply the principles that I've been applying for years on the saxophone, and now I have to put it into the clarinet if I want to master the clarinet. And I know that it's going to take some time because I have to put the hours in, and it's a lot of combinations that I'm not even aware of yet. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to play scales the full range, and once I get over the break, it gets kind of slow. But once I get where I'm back down here in the, in the middle register, I'm good because the fingering is familiar like the saxophone. But the whole point is you use your mind and your principles that you applied to other things and you apply it to the new thing. And so it's good for you. I saw another video that confirmed that it was talking about the science behind learning a new instrument and how good it is for the brain and how it helps keep your brain sharp, the mind sharp, and fights against Alzheimer's or dementia, because you're creating new connections in the brain and neuroplasticity. So that's why it's important to keep learning. We are not using all of our brain, even learning language. I hadn't gotten into that yet. I'm working and applying things to my business in terms of how to expand my business, how to be, learning the clarinet. So I'm exercising things in those regards. But I do listen to podcasts and other business uh, podcasts and things like that, books, audiobooks and stuff. And I'm listening to things to challenge me, to make me better. So I think uh, that's one of the important things, to keep challenging yourself to be better. And so because your mind is your asset, it is an asset. So if you um, are not growing and you're not learning, then you're making yourself a liability on somebody. You know what I'm saying? To your family, yourself. You got we got tons of residual bills. So it makes sense. It would make sense to figure out how you can create some residual income. So if you don't have the mind or you don't understand, then you got to learn so you can put that in your mind. Now, it'll take the Holy Spirit, to quicken you or to give you that epiphany moment from the stuff that you've heard. And then, you just might need to hear the right conversation or hear the right thing that helps you see it the way you should, so that then you can actually create the thing that fits your wheelhouse or that fits, your niche or your creative zone. And that's the thing too. I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine, and we were just talking about um, the giftedness and the things that we have. And so he was just talking about how he saw the giftedness that I had way back then, 22 years ago. And I was talking about the gifts and stuff that he had. And so the thing that's very interesting about that is you got to pay attention to what you have, what you do well, what's comfortable for you. And there's creative genius in that. And then you have to have the confidence to keep doing that, to where um, I'll give you a perfect example. Like David, he was one who was not considered when Jesse was showing off his sons when Samuel came to anoint the next king. But all of the sons that he was trying to show him, he's like, nah, that he ain't got it. That's no, that ain't it. And so what happened? He said, well, I have one more younger son, and he's just tending to the sheep. It's like, yeah, let's bring him. And so they went and got him, and he said, yeah, that's my man. That's the one. God was with him because, like what he said, is God. I mean, man judge the outer appearance, but it's God that judges the heart. He sees the heart. And so he had an experience um, talking about David as being a young guy, slaying bears, lions, taking care of the sheep, sharpening his skills with the slingshot, shedding, learning, growing on the lyre or what they used to call them, like the little harp. So he got his skills up because he was doing all of those things just because it was just a natural experience just from him just being obedient, doing what he had to do. He didn't know that his progress and growth and skill had matured at such a high level that he could slay this giant that he would then have to face, you know? And so that's how God deals with us. If you pay attention to your process, to what he's doing in your life, the way he's doing it, you don't have to worry about any competition. There's no competition at being you. So if you can be you and authentically operate in the thing that he's called you and designed you, constructed you to operate in, and you use the tools he's given you to operate with, then you will be able to make a lot of progress. You'll be able to take care of your family. You'll be able to overcome obstacles and challenges. I think what happens is people get so beat down in their own mind, like what I was talking about earlier today, because you have limited belief um, about yourself. You know what I'm saying? You perceive other people's programs and the things, the projects and things that they do as more valuable than the things that you have in your own head, the ideas that you have in your own mind. Like you discount yourself or discredit yourself because you don't think what you have is is marketable or profitable or whatever. And that's where you have to get the confidence, you have to leverage it and get it from somebody else. So everything is not as deep. Um, some things are, but it's a natural component and a natural example for everything that we want to do a lot of times. We might put it together different, unique, because we're all unique, but we're all human. And Solomon said, there's nothing new under the sun. How we put things together and present things, our soul and everything, and our style is totally unique. But my point is, there's an example for everything. You know what I'm saying? If you want to find another musician that's skilled, there's tons of them out there. You want to find other people who are speakers that are great, there's tons of them out there. You know, it's tons of people out there that are doing it, making millions of dollars speaking, turning the same phone on, speaking to a camera, got big audiences and making money and all of that. It's tons of people that out there. But there is a particular voice or a particular message that comes from a certain person with their perspective that you connect with, that will connect with you because of your experience. And those people are the ones that in tune or will be tuned into your station or your frequency or whatever. So we have a certain sphere of influence, and spiritually, the deep part is based on your experiences, my experiences. I can say something a certain way that just connects with you to where you want to hear it from me. You trust me, you feel and connect with me. There's some people who might listen, it's like, oh no, he talked too slow. I don't like his style, you know what I'm saying? So somebody else they resonate with. But there's an audience for everybody. You know what I'm saying? There's an age group. There's people who are into certain things. There's so many segments of audiences and subcultures within the culture. So many categories that you can search for, and the algorithm will give you somebody. And so you watch and learn, and you decide if that's somebody who you want to follow and subscribe to their channel, check out their products, get on their email list or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But the whole idea is like, to get back to the point, like your giftedness is the way you think. If you would trust the process and what God has given you, um, go forth with it and have confidence. Over time, you'll get better. I'm always saying that. I'm always saying that it's not about being perfect. It's just about being consistent. And from you being consistent, that mastery will kick into place. You'll be good at executing something because you've been doing it so long consistently. You know, I'm not the best speaker, but I teach. You know, I might not be, well, I would say this, because I've been teaching a while. I would say that's part of my gifting. Is connected to teaching and word of knowledge, you know. And so I've been doing that since a kid. My style is different. You know what I'm saying? Style is based on soul, your experiences, and culture. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, that has everything to do with style. You know, it's just like music, right? Music styles is a reflection of the people, you know, and their experiences, their traditions, their culture, language, and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to hear all of that captured in the voice um, of a speaker or the voice of a musical voice, you know, the songs and things like that, the soul of that particular medium. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about today. I was going to share some clarinet, but I'll probably put it in a different video because this was a good message right here. So if you enjoyed this, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. And if you're interested in being a part of my mentorship program, you can definitely hook up with me where I teach jazz improvisation, also music business, mentorship around being a self-employed, entrepreneurial musician, all of those things. We do that. If you go to shed.quamonfowler.com, you can find out about the Sound Musician Mentorship Program. Also, you can text me if you would like to just give me a shout. And my number is 877-360-4014. That's 877-360-4014. All right. So that's it for this video, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.